Hi everyone, welcome to my video and my channel. It is Natasha, and for today I want to talk about Skindinavia, the makeup finishing spray. If you're new to my channel and my videos, I do a lot of reviews, and it doesn't matter how I've acquired these items, services, or interactions, they're all always going to be honest. Good, the bad, the ugly, doesn't matter. Anyway, so this particular item, I have used this at least 5, 6, 7 months. Granted, I don't use it every day, but if I do use it, I mean, if I wear makeup, then I will use it. What I noticed was after I do my routine of makeup, and this really benefits the most just because I do have oily skin, and I extremely oily on my nose area. So what I've noticed is that this doesn't make you look cakey, dull, dry, even though everything that I put on is all matte. It's very weird, and I don't use highlighters. I don't use any of that. It could also be a combination of my moisturizer. But, yeah, it could be a combination of my moisturizer. Maybe also, because everything that I use is for oily skin and matte. It always says matte, and this is, supposedly oil-free and keeps you matte and oil-free for, as they claim, for how many hours. But from my experience, it doesn't really do that. So what I do before I put this on is I make sure my makeup is set. I make sure that I always put a mattifying foundation, and then on top of that, after I've given it a few minutes to set, I then apply pressed powder. So it's light, but I do put that on, and after I do that, then I spray this. I spray this liberally. So it's completely, not like I'm dripping, because I did try to do that. And there's a tendency that maybe your makeup will just run. So try not to do that. But if you want to do a lot, you could always just do a second coat after it dries. Just a little something. What I noticed is I have to apply this, reapply it every 1 to 2 hours, probably in between those, like an hour and a half to 2 hours, because if not, this area would still be very, very oily. So that's what I've learned to use, and I have also bought one of those really small, teeny tiny sprays that you get on eBay for like $1 would change. It takes like a month or two to get to you because it comes from China. However, it's cheap and I can wait for it. Who cares? So, to me, that's not important. So, what I would do if I was wearing makeup and I was on the go is every hour I would just refresh myself. What I've noticed is that if I do closer to 2 hours or after 2 hours, I have to blot, and you will go on a risk of possibly your makeup would go to the blotting sheet. So, your face would look kind of patchy and uneven. So from noticing and experimenting, what I've noticed is that if I do use this every hour to an hour and a half, I don't even need to blot, and I don't need to apply powder over it. That's just, I think, a habit. I would always blot and then put powder over it, because before I started to wear foundations, I just only used to wear pressed powder, and that didn't, that was fine with me until a certain point that I wanted to try foundation and I liked it. So I think it's just because you don't have to apply it so often. You just apply it one time in the day, and then you don't have to do that. Like in a powder, you have to do it every 20, 30 minutes. But anyway, so that's what I've been using every hour. I would just keep applying it. And that is just for me. You know, for some people, maybe this is good. They spritz it one time and then they're fine the rest of the day. Sometimes there's certain other people out there that might just feel like this probably doesn't work for them. This has worked for me. Before I discovered that there is such a thing as finishing spray, or I've tried the finishing spray and it didn't work for me, my makeup would always change, you know, throughout the day. It would oxidize, or it would separate, especially in this particular area, or when I would blot, it would the makeup would go to the blotting sheet and it would just look really awkward and awful, and you feel uncomfortable the rest of the day. I don't necessarily think that this does give you like glowing skin. I can't really guarantee that. I know that my face, this just doesn't look dry and dull. That's all I know. It just has this glowing look, like a radiance to it. And again, it could just be a combination of my moisturizer and my skin. I don't know. But I'm not using anything that is supposed to be glowing and luminous or anything of the sort. I'm not using any of that. Everything that I'm using is powder or like / mattifying. Would I recommend this? Yes. Just make sure you know how to use it. You also know how your skin is. Don't give up. If, for example, after a few hours you feel like it's your makeup is separating, and you feel like this only lasted a few hours, I apply it multiple times in a day. So maybe that's the way you got to do it too, because I did try to experiment it, and I don't want to be wasteful. And so when it would separate throughout the day, it was just a light bulb in my head, and I thought, you know, instead of getting disappointed and throwing this out or whatever, might as well use it multiple times in a day. So I experimented. I did it like every 4 or 5 hours, and then I did it like a shorter amount of time in between, and I figured for my skin it's probably about an hour and a half. And and if I do it that frequently, I don't have to blot, and I don't have to add any more powder. All I gotta do is spray this. I have sprayed this accidentally. My eyes were open. You know, sometimes when you spray it and there might be a little bit of residue and it would just go in your eye, you open your eyes quicker than you should. This never burned my eyes, and I am a contact lens wearer. This never burned my eyes. It never irritated or made it red, made it pink. It never made it itchy. None of that at all. It has like a weird sensation to it, not painful, but just different. I think it's because, you know, it's not supposed to go in your eye. I don't do that. It's not a habit that I do. It's not like something that I prefer to do. But I'm just saying, if this accidentally goes in your eye, it's not going to hurt you. And yes, I definitely do recommend this. I would also recommend, even if you do have very oily skin, I would recommend to try this one first, because this might be good enough for you. If you don't really care and you want to try the other one that says oil control, I think that's a newer one. And I also have that, and I have tried it, and I will make a different video for that, and probably do a video of this one versus that one as well. Go ahead and do that. But I think you might want to start with this. I don't remember if there's a difference in pricing. I don't think that there is. But if you go to Skindinavia.com or their website, I believe it's Skindinavia.com, they do have a sale a lot of times, and they do do a set. I think after trying this with the set of the primer, the Pore, and then I also bought the oil control version for both. After trying that, and I probably won't purchase the makeup primer spray. I will try the makeup primer spray in oil control and see what happens if it does work. Because if it does work, then probably I will repurchase that. But for now, the other one, the primer version of this one, I'm not going to repurchase at all. For this one, because I still have it and it's still a lot, maybe I'll repurchase. I don't know. So we'll see. But I do recommend this 100%. I do recommend, especially if you want your makeup to last. And I also recommend to, if you wanted to get the smaller bottle, I just bought a separate non-labeled bottle. It's really, really small, and it's going to fit anywhere, in any bag, in any clutch, and no matter what size. And that's what I prefer. I don't prefer to bring like a 4 ounce or a 2 ounce with me, because I think it's too much, and you're not going to use the entire 2 ounces anyway. So, I would probably recommend something a little bit smaller, but you know, it's up to you. If you want it to look the way it looks and you just want to get it from them, you don't want the hassle of saving money or waiting for your order from eBay or anywhere that you shop that it is a small, like, misting bottle, then, you know, it's your choice, it's your money, it's your life if you want to do that, you know. But for me, if you want to save a little bit of money here and there, it functions the same way. Make sure it's a mister and not a squirter, because if it's a squirter, then that's kind of weird. You need something that will actually mist. So also kind of make sure you're getting the correct item to bring with you on the go. That would be my advice to that. And so I think that would be it for my Skindinavia review of the makeup finishing spray. This is in the 8 ounce. I did purchase this together with the primer version. It came in a set of 2. Thank you so much for taking the time, watching my video, knowing what I went through, and my experience in regards to this item or product. I hope you like my video enough that you give me a thumbs up. If not, that's fine. Any kind of comments are all welcome. Most likely the positive ones will be the best ones. So feel free to do and add any kind of comment in there if you just want to say hi, any questions, suggestions, requests, they're all welcome. Any kind of subscription to my channel is always going to be the best part, and it's always going to be loved, enjoyed, and welcomed every time. Thank you again for giving me the time today and watching my video. Thank you so much. You have a wonderful rest of your day. Bye.